I have a prediction for next year. This is just a thought, but I think that this new administration, things are going to change. I hope. I mean, that's what we're looking forward to. They're going to clean house up there in D.C. They're going to get rid of all the waste and the spending. There's going to be some common sense that's coming around. And I think that's going to trickle on down even into the cattle industry. I think common sense is going to start coming to the top. I mean, I just think there's going to be some changes, and I may be wrong, but I think grassroots and I think the people are speaking and are ready to be heard about some of these issues. So that's kind of one of my predictions.
Well, I'm hoping that Mr. Kennedy coming in there may be helping us with our health as a nation as a whole. We'll get things back to that red meat deal. You know, there's a lot of good things come out of red meat. I know we had a lot of negativity years ago about red meat, but it always kind of has come back. And
he's a health nut.
He's a health nut, and I think he's on the ball.
Stout. I mean, he's like a physical guy.
Did you see him do those pull-ups?
I did. I never.
He's 71 and doing pull-ups.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
But anyway, yeah, he's on top of it, and I think he's all about nutrition and getting back to basics, to more healthy food. A lot of this processed stuff is not good for us. And as far as the cattle business goes, I think you're probably on to something. I don't think Trump is going to get a lot of things done the first year. I just think it's going to take some time for him to get the ball rolling. But I think we're riding now kind of on a good wave as far as cattle prices. And with the numbers of cattle still being down, I think we're going to probably ride that wave for another year. You know, you hear people say, well, you know, cattle prices are always great when Democrats are in control.
I've heard that.
Well, they're not in control next year, but I still think it's going to be something that, you know, I mean, nothing's been normal the last several years. Nothing's been normal. So I think we can maybe say that, hey, cattle prices are going to be good when the Republicans are in control. Maybe we swap this thing around.
Yeah, the new normal.
Yeah.
One thing probably is not going to go away is the size of these cattle coming out of these feedlots. I mean, the whole year long, if you look at the reports all year, every week almost, carcass weights are higher than they were the week before, and I think the last time I looked, it was 964 pounds carcass weight. That is a huge animal, but that's what that's what the demand is. Consumer demand is for this bigger meat, or either consumer demand or packer demand, because they have more meat in less animals, and when they run that chain, they just gear up where their processing can handle bigger animals, and they have to actually go through less process through less animals with more meat, so it's more profitable for them like that. And I don't know, I'm just thinking that in genetics and all that is just way better. Genetics and these huge carcasses are going to be around for a while, and feeders are feeding cattle for another extra 30 or 40 days because supplies are limited. So, you know, they kind of have the upper hand, the feeders do. They can kind of dictate what the prices are going to be. And that's another thing, price discovery. You mentioned that before. You got to have that price discovery. You got to have negotiated trade of cattle coming out of the feedlots, and they can't all just be corporate lots and formula and grids and stuff like that. Somebody's got to figure out what it's worth. It's pretty vital to have price discovery, and people need to sell their cattle. And I think cattle are going to be around a long time in Florida. They've been here for 500 years. I think they're going to keep being here.
I think so too. You know, the people numbers are going to keep coming up in Florida. I mean, but they're bound to kind of level off at some point, because the high rises now are not building like this. They're having to go up because land is getting so scarce. But gosh, I just talked to a customer a minute ago that lost another cattle lease and is going to have to move, you know, some cattle off because Water Management ended up with that land, and I don't know what they're going to do with it. They don't know what they're going to do with it. But
so you have to sell the cows, or is he moving them?
well, he's going to move them around, maybe sell some of his old ones off, but he's looking for a lease, and you know, yeah, he might be downsizing, and that's been a regular thing we've been hearing for the last year or so.
So the question is, what do you think in 2025 should you be selling? What are the buyers looking for, and what is your strategy for the next year?
Well, we just answered some of that with those big carcass weights. You want to look for some cattle that are going to give you a good growthy calf to bring across the market. You don't want one with fine bones, you know, with too much Brammer in them. You want something with that English blood, or you know, Charolais or Hereford or Angus, something like that. So you're wanting a beefy animal that you can get to grow fast and get off that cow. And of course, your cow's got to be a crossbred cow here in Florida to, you know, put up with the bugs and the heat. What was your answer?
Well, I mean, I think that, you know, if you're on a program and it's working for you, you're just kind of going to stay on your regular program. Like I know our ranches, we try to stay on a schedule, you know, and do the same thing every year. You try to improve your cows and keep them young, you know, sell off the ones that aren't producing good calves, and just keep a handle on not letting your cows get too old. We have a tendency to hold them and try to get another calf out of them, and then maybe that last calf, they just start going downhill, so you kind of you're starting to lose quality and all. But for the guys, there's a lot of people that have these old groves and the lease land like you're talking about that have Corriente cattle, scrub cattle, and things like that. Well, they're putting Charolais bulls on those cows. I mean, they're upgrading because they're using a purebred bull on the top side with these real crossy cows. So the calf is better than what it would have been. I mean, it's still half Mexican or Corriente or something, but it's got a good top side. They got better bones and genetics. So even if you're a backyard guy and you know, tax cows or whatever, get a good bull. And if you're going to have them, have good ones, because you can have, like we said before, you can have two cows now can produce or make enough money at these prices as 5. So you don't need to have all these cows, just have a few good ones, and those calves are going to bring as much money or more than what they've been bringing the last few years. So genetics, and just do a little bit of upgrading. It's better for the whole industry.
But you know, you can take those bulls like that that are just genetically superior, and they've got good bone and muscle, and you can put that bull on a cow that you wouldn't think would give you a very good calf, like Todd said, you know, kind of an off quality cow, and you'll get a good calf.
Well, I got some cows right around my house in town, and I got one of those horned Hereford bulls like you're talking about last year or 2 years, and then now they had calves. One of those cows is a little old scrub kind of a cow that probably weighs 850 pounds. Just a little old scrubby kind of a cow. And her calf out of that horned Hereford bull, she had this calf, it was a heifer. And when I brought that calf to the market, that calf weighed 610 pounds. Is what that calf weighed, right off of that little cow out of that horned Hereford bull. And I mean, didn't do a thing in the world to her. So I mean, that's just an example. If you're just going to have them around your house or whatever, get you a good bull to put on those cows. It'll pay for itself.
Get a good bull and make sure they're healthy. Keep them, you know,
nutrition,
good health program, and good nutrition.
Yeah. Sell them at Okeechobee Livestock Market.
That'll help.
You get top dollar.
That will help.